You can make a dozen biscuits, you can make a big pot of this, freeze it, and then you have biscuits and gravy. I mean, this will last in your freezer. I wouldn't eat it after a year, but you can. So what we're doing here is chopping up our vegetables for our biscuits and gravy. I must admit that I don't much care for biscuits and gravy. But the problem with biscuits and gravy is one note and one note alone. What you end up with is a dish that is a biscuit, which is milk and flour, and then you end up with a gravy that is milk and flour. No acid, no, well, that's douchey to say, I know, sorry, hold on. Nothing to brighten it up, no scallion, no any kind of substance other than just milk and flour. A little bit of pork sausage, but that shit ain't good for you anyway, so it's just kind of like seems like a shitty way to start the day in my opinion. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a biscuit and gravy that I would enjoy. I did this once at the restaurant. It was mixed reviews. Some people tell me that it was the best biscuits and gravy they've ever had. And then I had the other half of people send that shit back. So we're gonna make our sausage with the ground beef, which is not gonna be traditional or anything like that, but by the time it's in a milk gravy, you will not be able to discern the difference. You can do this with any kind of ground meat you might have at home. We're just gonna do some salt, do some pepper, and then this is sugar, allspice, some fennel seed, some Benny seed, and then we have our chicken seasoning we use at the restaurants. It's kind of like an overall purpose seasoning. It's got garlic powder, some spices, and basically by adding the sugar and the anise seed, that's really all you're gonna need for a sausage that you can kind of pass at the house. And we're gonna just get this kind of going in a ball here. Make sure it's evenly distributed. And then while we make our biscuits, this will kind of become sausage. The salt will infuse with kind of the meat, and it'll make it like that bouncy, springy texture that you're looking for in a sausage. And then it'll have obviously the sweetness from the sugar and the spices that will kind of, I mean, you just won't be able to tell the difference. So if you've got chicken at home or whatever you have when you're making it, that's all you need to worry about. One quick note on making biscuits is you gotta have the white lily flour. You don't have to, but there's a great quote on the internet. I think it's an Atlantic article, and it's like, Northerners can't make no biscuits because they use bread flour. And that's kind of true. We're gonna make a drop biscuit. What am I looking for? Gloves. So I'm gonna, fresh guy, give me problems. There we go. Aerosol free pan spray. Aerosol makes me cough like crazy, and I just think that's probably some unnatural shit RFK wouldn't approve of. We're gonna wing it here, okay? I don't really like to use recipes. We're making drop biscuits. Ain't nobody in the South really be cutting their biscuits out unless they have to. At least that's from my experience, or that's a quote from my actual Southern co-workers. I kind of am, you know, just kind of that Georgia transplant situation. We're gonna do a pinch of sugar, or a pinch of salt, and then a pinch of sugar. One of the key things to biscuits is it's really not that dramatic. Everybody will sit here and they will tell you like, they'll be like, everything's gonna be ice cold, and it's not true, okay? There's just no way. Like, you gotta sometimes think about food in like a historical context. Like, do you really think that people in like 1910 were making ice cold butter? It needs to be cold, that is true, but don't kill yourself over the situation. This is unsalted. Never buy salted butter unless you need it like specifically for bread. A lot of people grate it. A lot of people do a lot of things with it. I'm gonna cut it thin. and because I think it's just quicker. And I'm gonna let it break up. I'm not too worried about the consistency of the butter right this second. We're just gonna try to do this process as quickly as we can, and that'll keep everything as cold as we need to. What we're just gonna do is we're just gonna start folding in some buttermilk. What we don't wanna do is mix this guy too much. If you mix the biscuits too much, you're gonna end up with gluten structure, and gluten structure is gonna be a tough biscuit. I meant to grab an apron earlier and I didn't. I swear to God, I'm losing my brain.
What's a guy gotta do to get a Table 20 sweatshirt?
They are online. We have not announced that we have our merch store up, but we have officially got our merch store up.
Very cool.
Yes, I'm excited. It has a few cool designs. All right, so we have our biscuit dough. This is a consistency that I'm happy with. You see it's wet, but it's dry, you know, and that's kind of what we're looking for. So these are drop biscuits, like I said, which you don't need to cut no biscuit. And here we go. You can see, if you're looking at them, that they're not uniform. They're gonna have that similar shape to a Red Lobster biscuit. You know all about that, Steven?
Cheddar biscuits, come on.
Cheddar biscuits.
Hey, 15 pounds even.
There you go. These are not cheddar biscuits. If you wanted to add cheddar, you could. We're keeping this really simple here with this because we are gonna be overcomplicating our gravy. But we're gonna throw these guys in here we're gonna start at, I don't know, 10 minutes. We'll check them at 10 minutes. It'll probably take another 7 or so after that. Set a 10-minute timer.
10 minutes, counting down.
So I'm just gonna flip them so they kind of get a little bit even on there. We're not really worried about the texture or the looks of it because we're gonna cover it in gravy. And if you do the cheese biscuits and you do it that way, it'll get the crust on the bottom and then the crust on the top, and it's like hella good. We had these biscuits on the menu for. We did like some chicken dish with the biscuits. I can't remember. We do so many dishes. It was the airline chicken dish we did. We had these cheddar biscuits that had oats and whole wheat flour and cheddar and molasses, and they were like making a breakfast sandwich on that guy with like in the morning, like you'd come and you just have one and you make a breakfast sandwich real quick before you got started. It was so good. Woo. Biscuits, we are cooking. We are cooking. Let's make our gravy. So we have a pot, fairly hot. Well, let's get it smoking. This guy was inherited. This cast iron was inherited, and it's not the most well seasoned. Definitely wasn't loved the way it should have been loved in a past life. So to brown the meat, I'm gonna take my sausage and I'm gonna basically flatten it in my hands. And I'm gonna press her down. And if you smell it, you can smell all those spices and stuff like that we put in earlier. Yeah, smells like sausage. Maybe a little sweeter. But you can see. You come here. You can see, like, we're just not gonna flip this guy. We're treating this like a smash burger. This is our only real chance to get any browning. We're not really gonna worry about browning the other side. This is just gonna develop that fond. It's gonna develop that free flavor. And that's why fond is so valuable. Everybody will tell you different things or whatever about fond, but it's free. And that's why fond to chefs is so valuable, is it's like, no, that's just free flavor. It's not about how delicious it is, it's the fact that it's delicious and free, which is something we're always trying to get out of our product. So you can see right here, where even it's kind of starting to burn, it's hot. We're gonna turn this down. We're not worried about that. Just wanted that caramelization. I promise by the time it's all said and done, it won't matter that much. We'll lose some of that too. We'll add our mushrooms. Get those coated in there. This is a veg stock we make at the restaurant from our vegetable scraps. It is mostly just kind of a fragrant roasted flavor. So we're gonna reduce that all the way down. In this time period, I can add any kind of wet product we have. So this is tamari or soy sauce. You can use that. You only want a little bit. You don't even really want to taste the soy sauce. What the soy sauce is going to do is it's going to add a lot of just kind of unspoken flavor. You'll notice the umami, but you won't like notice the soy. That's what you want to do. It's very hard for a lot of non-Eastern chefs to kind of learn how to balance the soy. But if you can balance the soy sauce where you can get the umami but not the soy, you're gonna be able to use it in soups and things like that that you may not expect. So like, this isn't like, just because this has shiitake mushrooms and scallions and stuff like that, this isn't really Asian. You know, we're not trying to make it Asian. We're just trying to use kind of our modern ingredients to make a little bit more balanced dish. We can add any kind of seasoning we want to at this point. This is like our chicken seasoning again, a little bit of extra cayenne pepper, and then here's a little dirty secret. And you don't have to do this, but I would recommend it 100% of the time, is a little bit of MSG.
Yeah, you told me about MSG before.
MSG it makes delicious. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, people's allergies are, you know, if you come in and you tell us that you're allergic to MSG, we will take that seriously, but not literally. We just keep reducing this guy down, because the more we can reduce this in this initial stage is the more flavor we're adding to the mushrooms. Look at it reduce. I want you to get super reduced. We got almost no liquid left in this guy. And so from here, I'm gonna add our butter. And I'm gonna add some flour. And this is going to make, we're gonna kind of cook that flour out. And we're gonna make like a good amount of gravy with it. We are gonna add some water to this. If I had a well-seasoned pot, just so you know, it would not be sticking like this. We're gonna bring this back to a boil. You see it almost instantly boils. And that's kind of the thing, is we're gonna add water onto this guy until we feel good about the texture. I'm like really not into thick gravies, personally. I know that it's gonna be somewhat thick because it is a biscuits and gravy, but we really don't like, something about thick flour fucking sauce. It's just, I think it's gross. And I'm gonna add some cream here. You could just add milk at the house. I don't keep milk at the restaurant really. Don't really use the stuff. We use cream and we use water. That might be crazy to some people, I'm aware. We use milk sometimes, so like, Americans want cream. And if we need to thin it out, then we can add water. Grab our tasting spoons. These are compostable. Try to keep it green here. All right, so we feel like our gravy's been simmering for a second. I'm gonna turn it off the heat. And so basically what we have here is what I like in the consistency. I think the biscuits are gonna sop it up. It's not super thick though. We're gonna taste it.
What it tastes?
Tastes delicious. I mean, I fundamentally struggle with the goals of this dish. But this is my answer, and you can tell me if I'm a fucking asshole or not.
What they say, leave it in the comments below.
Leave it in.
Was it trash? What's great?
Yeah. If you hated it, like and subscribe, and or dislike and subscribe, and tell me how much I suck in future videos. Nobody ever asks for that. All right, so we have a plate. Woo! All right, so we're gonna plate this guy up. It's taking us about an hour to cook this shit. Not that bad. So it's like saucy, right? That biscuit's gonna sop up this saucy. If you want it thicker, you can make it thicker, but that's my main, one of my main contentions is like, why would you want it to be so thick when you have this biscuit? So this biscuit is here. I'm like, let me think. No, it's too big. Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? We're gonna cut it in half, right? Nice soft. The thing with this biscuit, I mean, it is a soft biscuit. A little crispy on the outside, maybe we could have baked it less. But that lily white, yes, it flattened a little bit. You could maybe put a little less milk. I mean, these are all preferences that I don't care to hear your opinion on. You can change that if you want to. So, we're gonna hit it with our gravy. Try to get a couple mushrooms on top here so you guys can see that. I like green onions like so much, I cannot lie. And then we'll do a little bit of our alfalfa sprouts. These are like little ways I think these are alfalfa sprouts. These are little ways that you can add a little bit of more nutrition to a dish that is like kind of void of it. And it's just gonna be a little earthiness, a little crunch. It's gonna go a long way in kind of making this nutritionally okay. I'm gonna do a touch of lime. This might be a little extra, but we're at a restaurant, it's kind of the point. And now I'm just gonna hit it with the chili oil, because this is how I eat breakfast at the house. Everything gets a shit ton of chili oil. And this has got Szechuan peppercorns, this has got some MSG, some clover, and then there you have it. And then we're gonna taste it, and we're gonna, whoa! All right, shall we dig in? So we're gonna give this a taste, and we're gonna let Steven taste it. You know, if we were to serve this at the restaurant, I'd probably give you both biscuits. It would be way too much food. You'd have to take it home, or you would somehow manage to eat it all. People never cease to amaze me in that regard. But this is a perfect portion for my breakfast. Maybe an egg on top. You know, I'm kind of a sucker for an egg. But we're gonna crack it in. You can see the softness. And I'm just gonna break it up. We're gonna try to get the meat, all that good stuff on there. Sop it up. You know, now that I'm trying it, I do realize that they could probably use some more gravy. And that's the thing. That's why you try your food before it goes out, and why you don't skimp on the gravy. We've got plenty of gravy here, and then you just go for it. Would you like to try, Steven?
Yeah, I'll take a bite.
What do we think?
It's gotta be genuinely. Now, I'm not a fucking food fanatic, but that's the best biscuits and gravy I've ever had.
Controversial. I don't think everybody will agree, but
I like that. Hang on, let me get.
yeah, it's got stuff going on.
I like that.
Yeah. I haven't eaten all day. You can get your shots of me eating aggressively.
You do look like a person that hasn't eaten in 2 weeks every time you eat.
That's probably the case. I ate last night. But not this morning. You can make a dozen biscuits. You can make a big pot of this, freeze it, and then you have biscuits and gravy. I mean, this will last in your freezer. I wouldn't eat it after a year, but you can. It'll be weird. It'll get weird and denatured, but you can eat it. I mean, you won't die. It just won't taste that good, but it'll hold for like a year. And then you have it. And then, you know, you can add scallions if you have scallions or not. You know, you can just have something to eat. And that's a wrap.